Welcome, friends, to another Calling Old Hollywood vlog. I'm creator and host Kat Lively, and today we are taking a little trip to Palm Springs. I'm going to be showing you where a few of the most iconic actors, actresses, and musicians lived, such as Elvis Presley, Debbie Reynolds, Elizabeth Taylor, Bing Crosby, and others. And before we go further, no, I did not include Frank Sinatra's home, his Twin Palms estate, because I have already done a video on it. I will put the link in the description and you can see Frank Sinatra's Twin Palms estate, because anyone who knows anything about Palm Springs or classic Hollywood history knows that was a frequent spot of his. I'd also like to mention, while we're at it, I also did a video on Dean Martin's abandoned home, which we actually took a tour of. I'll put that video in the description as well. Let's get to seeing these homes, shall we? The first home on our list today is the estate of actor CARY GRANT. When CARY GRANT wanted to get away from it all, he decamped here to a compound in Palm Springs. This estate is where CARY spent much of his retirement up until the time that he died. When he did die, he left the estate in his will to his widow and his daughter. As you can see on the front gate, his initials CG remain to this day, which is something that I absolutely loved upon driving up. I loved seeing this. The second home in Palm Springs that we're seeing today belonged to a woman by the name of Norma Jean Baker, otherwise known as the iconic blonde bombshell Marilyn Monroe. The research that I found online says that Marilyn Monroe lived here for some time upon construction of the home. I can't find a lot more research into that though, so if you have any, please leave them in the comments below for the rest of us. He was the king of shaking his hips, and he was the king of rock and roll. We're headed to the former home of Elvis Aaron Presley. Not to be confused with the honeymoon suite that is also in Palm Springs that many tourists flock to, but this is actually a home that he lived in, and they called it Graceland West. Elvis purchased this estate in 1970 for $105,000. He owned the home for 7 years, notably recording 9 songs there, including Are You Sincere, Blue Spanish Eyes, and I Miss You. His daughter Lisa Marie was 2 years old when the family moved in, although they usually only spent 3 months out of the year here. Though Elvis and Priscilla lived together for a time in this house, Graceland West is more closely associated with Elvis's bachelor days after his 1973 divorce. His Palm Springs escapades after the divorce are legendary, and they all happened here. During those years, Elvis added an entertainment room, a personal bedroom suite, and a sauna. He also built a roof over the 16-person jacuzzi to detour photographers and helicopters from taking photos. He spent his birthday, his very last birthday here at the estate, January 7th, 1977. Here we are at the former home of Elizabeth Taylor, also known as Casa Elizabeth. The home is full of Taylor's art collection, from photography to oil paintings, including Andy Warhol's famous portrait of her. This property includes 3 detached casitas for guests, a large courtyard veranda, a second-story observation deck, and luxury landscaping. The pool is one of the finest in Southern California. The home is now available for rent nightly or as a wedding venue. It was renovated by Kathy Ireland and is referred to as the Jewel of the Desert. This quaint little piece of property belonged to Debbie Reynolds and Eddie Fisher. Carrie Fisher, Debbie's daughter, spent a lot of time here growing up as a child. Carrie and Todd were only 7 and 5, respectively, when the home was purchased by Harry Carl, who was married to Reynolds at the time he used her money to purchase the Racket Club Estates home. Debbie Reynolds loved to escape to the home from Los Angeles, and the grandkids enjoyed the swimming pool. They eventually took over the house in the 70s after Reynolds and Carl went through a separation. Carl was a heavy gambler and, coupled with some bad financial decisions, had spent his own $22 million fortune and Debbie's $10 million. By the time they separated, the couple was headed for bankruptcy and $12 million in debt. Fast forward to 1987, Debbie's father passed away, but not before upgrading the home with new plumbing and adding a workroom for his tools and hobbies. Her mother required greater care and wanted to be closer to Reynolds' home in Hollywood, so Debbie helped her mother sell the home. The final stop today is a man that you might have heard of, might have heard his songs, might have watched his films. It's Mr. Bing Crosby. Out of all the homes on the stop today, this is my favorite, and I think it's because of the modesty. All the other homes, you see these giant gates where you can barely see in, you can't, it's very protected, as it should have been. These were icons of larger-than-life stature. However, Bing's home only had these kind of two small gates, one for the cars and one obviously to enter and exit. Just had a very modest, humbling appeal about it, and I really like that. So many reasons I love Palm Springs, and I just found another one. There's a little neighborhood called Little Beverly Hills, and in this neighborhood, every street is named after a street in Beverly Hills. It's like Cannon Drive, Roxbury, Bedford, Beverly. Really, really cute.